you may not know me, but I'm Citizen John. The name's John Murtari, and I'm running for U.S. Congress. And I hope to be a force for positive change for the people here locally and also for our country. My son was born in 1993. I was 37 at the time. Little did I know my life was about to unravel. Right after he was born, I was so happy, as many parents are. And the movie Schindler's List had come out back then in 93, 94. And I remember seeing that movie and being so disturbed at what terrible things can happen if good people just stand by. And so back then I was actually a Democrat, and I believed, I guess, in the ideals of what government can do. And later on, I have been a registered Republican for probably the last 17 years because I guess I woke up to the reality of what government can do in our lives. So, but I actually ran for Congress back then because I cared and I wanted to get involved. And then my spouse wanted out of the marriage, right? So all that was starting in the background, the potentiality of a divorce. And so I dropped out of that congressional race. And then at work, where I was a senior software engineer, I was there to evaluate the performance of the fire control system of a nuclear attack submarine. And something happened right out of the old 60 Minutes show. I began to realize the results being reported to the United States Navy weren't accurate. We were having a lot of problems running our tests. They weren't succeeding, but yet it was being reported that everything was fine. And this put me in a precarious position as a former military officer. You know, I still recall duty, honor, service to country. It was a tough position. I had a newborn son, had just moved into a new house payments, the mortgage, a lot of expenses. Tried every way I could to convince the company to report the results more accurately. It didn't happen. So finally I told them, look, you've got to clean that up or I will report it to the Inspector General. And perhaps you know the rest of the story. The next morning I get a call at home. Mr. Murtari, your services are no longer needed. First time I've been fired in my life. But luckily, and I'll go briefly, it was investigated thoroughly. My contentions were absolutely confirmed. And hopefully everything got squared away, although I was not involved in that part of the process. After that, the most gut-wrenching experience in my life was going through a divorce. And not so much what went on with my former spouse and splitting up and property issues and all that. That didn't really matter. But it was finding people wanting to reduce my contact with my son, wanting to make me the every other weekend parent. And that was gut-wrenching. So for the next probably 16 years, you know, I struggled to stay an involved parent. That became my central focus. And also to help other people going through it. You know, I knew that laws had to change, things had to happen. It wasn't really going to help my son and I, but might help other people. And even several years ago started a 501c4, akidsright.org, to vocalize for family rights, for mothers and fathers. And that was very important. But it cost me a lot.